Welcome to the fourth episode of Failure Stories, and today we have our beloved guest Divya Shah with us. Divya is a brand strategist and content marketing strategist, and she has 49,000 plus following on LinkedIn. And Divya is putting all the content related marketing, branding, personal branding, content marketing. So let's hear some from Divya. Yeah, Divya, go ahead.
Hi, Tanmay. Firstly, thank you for having me here. Talking a little bit about myself, you've already mentioned what I do professionally, right? Brand strategist, content marketing strategist. So I've worked with over 80 plus businesses in my journey in
Wow.
the last 1.5 years. And that too globally, I've helped them build brand strategies, content marketing strategies to, with the end goal of being driving sales for their business and building the community.
Wow.
And apart from this, I am also a mental health advocate. That's on a passion side, but yeah, this is about me.
Super. So, people, before going ahead, we are just going to talk about what is the mission of this failure story. So, mission of this failure story is to encourage young and aspiring entrepreneurs to take calculated risk. It is very important because क्या होता है बहुत टाइम लोगों को बहुत कुछ करना होता है but they have a fear of failure. So कि अगर मैं ये करूँगा मैं स्टार्टअप स्टार्ट करूँगा ये हो जाएगा मैं अपनी कंटेंट राइटिंग या फिर कंटेंट की जर्नी स्टार्ट करूँगा मुझे रीच नहीं मिलेगी लाइक्स नहीं मिलेगी फेलियर आएगा. So we have to encourage people that's why our guests are going to tell their story that how they failed and how they bounced back. So to empower all the entrepreneurs to take calculated risks. So calculated risks are very important, and the core message of failure stories is that we are not going to repeat mistakes. This is the core message of failure. So I also practice not to repeat mistakes on daily basis. Even I play chess, even I play cricket, even I do any professional work, making reels videos, I practice not to repeat my all mistakes. That's very important, and that's how you grow fast. When you do not repeat unconsciously, subconsciously, we actually repeat some mistakes, but ho jata hai kabhi kabhi, but we have to practice. That's why we have to practice. We are not going to repeat mistake. This is the core message of failure stories. So let's get started. So Divya, tell people where you are today and how you reached where you are today, like 49,000 plus LinkedIn following and 80 plus businesses, your work and all. So how you reached, just tell in short, and then we will go in brief.
Sure. So my journey started back in 2020 on LinkedIn, sharing my story about battling with depression for 7 long years. That's how
Oh,
I started my content creation journey on LinkedIn. And a lot of people started DMing me. They wanted to know about my journey because they could relate to it. And while I was sharing my journey consistently on LinkedIn, there came a point wherein I had my first client who was from the mental health space, and that's how I got my first client who wanted me to write content for their startup, like the blogs and their Instagram posts, etc., etc. That's how my
mhm.
freelancing journey started. So freelancing was never a part of this whole bigger picture when I started my journey. It was more to share my stories. So yeah, and then yeah, content creation kept on happening, just sharing my personal stories, sharing tips and advices for the businesses, etc., etc. And that's how it just kept on moving and moving. And here we are today with 49,000 plus followers and 80 plus businesses.
Okay, okay, great. So let's talk about family support. क्या होता है बहुत लोगों को फैमिली का सपोर्ट नहीं होता, उन लोगों के पास एक रीजन होता है कि मेरे मम्मी पापा सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं, that's why I'm not doing this, and मुझे अपने पैरों पर कुछ करना है but मुझे फैमिली का सपोर्ट नहीं है. कुछ लोगों का फैमिली का सपोर्ट होता है, कुछ लोगों का नहीं होता है. So let's talk about your family support. How was your family support?
Okay, this is an interesting angle. Reason being, my family, while my mom has always been supportive, my dad has never been supportive. Go into the traditional business, or go and do the corporate job, get that stability. But my mom has always been like, do what you love. Okay,
Wow.
just be ready for the failures that comes on the way. So she has always made me, she has molded me into a person who should be ready to take up failures and
Wow.
not run away from them. So my support was like a 50-50 support. One was like mat kar, and the other one was like kar. Do whatever you want to do as long as it makes you happy and your health doesn't go on stake. It's not at stake. So mera aisa funny sa story in terms of family support. And my sister, my younger sister, she has always been like, yeah, yeah, you are like my go-to person for
Yes.
professional advice.
Super. Okay. Great, great. So family का 50-50 support है. So people,
Yeah.
if you don't have, देखो मम्मा का support तो होता ही है. जितने भी लोगों से मैं बात करता हूँ ना, सब लोगों को मम्मा का support होता है. मुझे भी मेरी मम्मी का, actually I have support from mummy plus daddy as well. So अगर नहीं होता तो फिर पता नहीं क्या होता. बहुत मुश्किल आती. So let's see. Let's give a little teaser about what was the struggle and how you overcome. Just 2 minutes, teaser, and then we'll dive deep.
I think in my journey so far in last 1.5 years, there were a lot of struggles. Be it starting, जब pandemic शुरू हुआ था, तब a lot of the whole freelancing boomed up, right? So that fear of missing out on FOMO, what we typically call it, when will I get my first client? That was too much to deal with. Then continuous content creation, that was again a struggle in itself because stories हैं, आप सब कुछ नहीं share कर सकते हो social media पे. It can backfire. So both half is like, you have to figure your way out into the whole world of freelancing, then community banani hai, ye karna hai, wo karna hai. So I think it has been a lot of like a different aspects on that angle, like in terms of struggle. And how I overcame them is I'm still overcoming them because like right now I feel I kind of have gone back to where I was in the beginning in terms of my struggles. But of course, this is at a up higher level as against which was at ground zero. So वो persistence से ही आएगा. Like to overcome them, you need perseverance, you need a lot of dedication, and to remember one thing at the same time is to not be hard on yourselves because that's one mistake that I did. I was really hard on myself, and that hit my mental health very badly.
That's बहुत लोगों को अंडरस्टैंड करने में बहुत टाइम चला जाता है कि क्या करना है, किस तरह से करना है, और जब फेल होते हैं तो बाउंस बैक करने में भी बहुत टाइम जाता है. सो आई आल्सो वेंट फ्रॉम दैट जर्नी कि फेल हुआ था, उसके बाद पता नहीं था कि क्या करना है. सो आई विल शेयर माय जर्नी व्हेन वी विल हिट आई थिंक 25 episodes of these failure stories, and then I'll upload my story as well. So I'll share with with the whole world what was my story. मेरी story भी बहुत ज़्यादा struggle की है, बहुत struggle किया है. Still अभी भी struggle की थोड़ी पेस चालू है, but हो जाएगा. So
I think
yeah.
struggle is consistent. Like it has to be
हाँ.
a part of your journey, and that's the only way you can grow. This is no growth.
Exactly. जितने भी bigger level पे भी जो people है, हमें लगता है they are successful, but they also have some kind of struggle in their own. So वो तो continuous phase है, right? Yeah. So let's get to the next part. That let's dive deeper, little deeper. That how you started your journey from the beginning. Tell people how you started.
How I started, okay, just like I think 90% of the people, it for me as well, it started in the pandemic while I was waiting for my final exams to complete. Okay, so but my only difference was that the reason why I started on LinkedIn was I had hit rock bottom in the May 2020, 25th of May 2020, when I kind of wanted to end everything. I wanted to quit. And for some reason it clicked that okay, no, this is not how I want my life to be. I've come a long way. There's a reason why I started everything. There's a reason why I've chosen to follow my dreams. So I'm not quitting. And that's when I went on to LinkedIn and I was just, let me just write what's coming in my mind and I want to put it, hit that post. I published it. Trust me, Tanmay, on that. And today go and I haven't edited that post. It's full of grammatical errors. It's full of so many mistakes. But everyone, that post blew up, and people were DMing me. They were like, "Are you okay? Like this is so strong of you to share your story." I went on to even talk about how many times I've tried ending my life, for that matter. So it was never in a way कि हाँ मतलब करना है क्योंकि बस करना है. It was more to do with I was scared that in the pandemic a lot of people were struggling with their mental health. So my journey started with sharing my battle of mental health, and yeah, story share करते गए. And then eventually I realized कि मुझे marketing में भी interest है, मुझे branding में भी interest है. तो फिर थोड़ा थोड़ा like the content pillars kept on changing with time on LinkedIn.
Okay, so अपने आप से स्ट्रगल कर करके सब कुछ स्टार्ट हुआ था स्टार्टिंग में पैंडेमिक में. Everybody, हाँ, 90% of the people started in pandemic, right? और उस
Yeah.
समय अगर आई वाज आल्सो थिंकिंग कि अगर मैंने तब स्टार्ट किया होता ये सब वीडियो बनाना वगैरह वगैरह तो बहुत ज्यादा रीच मिली थी, बट इट्स ओके, यू नो, इट्स ओके। कभी कभी अपॉर्चुनिटी हाथ से चली जाती है, देन वी हैव टू, यू नो, अपने आप को बताना पड़ता है चलो कोई बात नहीं, दैट टाइम वी मिस्ड, बट नाउ इज आल्सो गुड टाइम बिकॉज वी आर बिल्डिंग समथिंग एंड वी आर गोइंग गुड, यू नो। उस टाइम नहीं हो पाया तो क्या होगा, अब हो जाएगा, नो प्रॉब्लम। अब बात करते हैं
Indeed.
फेलियर के बारे में। सो how you failed in your professional journey?
Okay, there have been multiple failures in my professional journey. And if I start from again, 2020, so जब मेरे को first 2-3 clients मिल गए was well and good. But then उसके बाद it was kind of a dry month. Okay,
अच्छा,
and I had no idea कि what to do next because all of that came by luck. And of
okay,
course, I
okay.
wouldn't say exactly by luck, but yeah, because I was creating content, they liked my content, they reached out to me. But what after that? The moment I stopped creating content, I did not have clients in the pipeline. So that was my biggest, one of the biggest roadblocks that I had in my early days. Then I realized, okay, I ended up talking to a lot of, you know, industry leaders to ask them, okay, this is where I'm going, where am I going next? This is the problem I'm facing. Okay. So, and that's when they told me you need to keep on creating content because that's how people will know you. So that was the
Exactly.
first kind of a failure in my professional life. Then the second one was actually quite recently, a couple of months back, wherein one of my clients, like I was fired for the
Oh,
first time by one of my clients.
okay,
And yeah, the reason was that, we just did not find each other to be a good fit.
okay.
While we worked for good 7 months, post which they felt okay, the main task for which they hired me was completed. The second task that they had given me, I was not able to do it. I told them I'll give it a shot, but did not work out. So they told me they will have to call it off. Like, okay, no worries. So that was like that happened to me for the first time. Okay. And I'm talking this live here. I know hundreds of people are going to listen to this. And the reason I'm sharing this is that there will be times when your clients will fire you if you're a
Good, good,
freelancer.
good.
When it happened to me for the first time, I was taken aback. I was like, no one has ever talked about this clients firing freelancers. I've always heard the other way around. So yeah, that was one more thing that was
That's important.
happening and that happened to me. And then I was like, okay, fine, no worries, we'll find another more clients. But that also taught me I need to have a proper exit clause in my contract when I sign up clients.
Right, right, right.
So there came in a learning for me. I did not just sit and cry with that learning, with that failure, but I chose to learn from it. Take an exit clause down there. So that will
Super.
save me next time. And it is saving me now. Trust me on that.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
and I'm like, oh God, yeah. And iska,
बहुत बहुत
and the
important.
third
Yeah, third one.
And the third thing that I'll share is that back in October 2021, I actually wanted to start creating reels on Instagram, okay? But for some
Oh,
reason, I was delaying it so much, because I was scared. What will people think? How am I supposed to dress up? What am I supposed to do? This, that. I don't have the right equipments. I don't have the team to create content for me to edit my videos. So those tons and tons of questions, and I procrastinated for good, like what, 5 months. And in Feb 2022, I was like, chuck it. I'll put up my first reel, no matter what happens. And I
super.
did it, and it blew up. And my first reel got me like what, 4 leads, out of which I converted
Wow.
three. It had like what, 8,000 plus views.
Oh,
So
oh,
I'm
oh,
like, nice. That
oh.
gave me a lot of confidence. I'm like, and it was actually very bad lighting. It was shot in dark. I used my study
मैंने
table
देखी है,
lamp
मैंने
to
देखी
shoot
है.
busting myths wali. And I was like, it's fine. Let's just do it. This I'll just keep on delaying and doing nothing. So yeah, these things, so the failure was that procrastination was my biggest failure. Had I
काश.
done that 5 months back, I would have got more clients. I would have been earning much more.
हाँ ना, मेरे साथ भी यही हुआ था, काश हमने वो टाइम पे स्टार्ट किया होता, बट चलो कोई बात नहीं, देर से सही, बट you know that's what you're sharing कि start करो, now is the time to start. जिन लोगों ने अभी भी start नहीं किया, बहुत
Yeah.
सारी चीजें हैं, I'm going to talk about that as well कि क्या करना चाहिए क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, एक शॉर्ट में 1-2 मिनट में मैं बता दूंगा। तो वो भी इम्पोर्टेंट है कि अभी स्टार्ट करना है, 2 महीने बाद 3 महीने बाद कि मैं एडिट कैसे करूंगा, कपड़े कौन से पहनने, बैकग्राउंड क्या है, ये सब देयर आर दीज आर ऑल सेकेंडरी थिंग्स। इफ यू दिव्या ने कहा कि उसको 3 से 4 क्लाइंट की इंक्वायरीज आई जस्ट वन रील। मेरी रील आज भी, कल मैंने रील डाली थी, उसके आज भी व्यूज अभी तक गए हैं 49 only 49। so still I'm putting continuously reels। मेरे reels hardly 100 तक hit कर दिया, hardly। मैं इतना ज्यादा उसमें knowledge डाल रहा हूँ, फिर भी मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा, but I'm analyzing them, I'm analyzing, and from next Monday I'm also going to improve my reels quality as well। so now अभी भी मैं सारी की सारी reels खुद लिखता हूँ, खुद edit करता हूँ, खुद उसको सब subtitles and all। so you have to do all the work by yourself at the first stage। so just start now। so अब आगे बढ़ते हैं कि why you failed, why do you think you failed, what was that reason that you failed?
I think so. Of the 3 failure stories that I shared with you, I'll pick the why behind them.
Yes.
The first one, I mentioned earlier as well itself that I stopped creating content because of which my pipeline dried up, because I was so focused on, client work, and there was no one to guide me and tell me that you have to continuously keep on creating content. So I think there's a lack of guidance. Of course, I was reading a lot, I was following a lot of good influencers in the industry, but still, no one actually at that point in time talked about that you have to continuously keep on creating content for the pipeline to be filled with clients, to be filled with prospects. So that was one thing. I think lack of guidance was one reason why I failed. And secondly, when the client fired me, right? That was, I think, a big learning for me in terms of, because I did not have a right exit clause. And that's when, so a lot of times, freelancers actually tend to follow a professional template of contract, right? And that's what I had. That did not have an exit clause.
Okay.
And not a lot of times, you won't hear a lot of freelancers talking about exit clauses either. To have an exit clause, that's a defined exit clause कि ठीक है इतना duration का आपको हमको notice देना ही पड़ेगा, right? So the moment this client fired me, I went to the lawyer and I was like, get me a legal template.
Wow.
I need a legal contract. I don't want to get into this professional template anymore. So I think lack of awareness was one reason why I failed again, on that area. And the third, reels wala was pretty much a procrastination and the typical log kya kahenge.
What people will say.
Yeah, oh god, this log kya kahenge, can get on nerves, trust me. And nowadays I have become like this besharam ladki. I do everything I want to do. Like, you look at my Instagram stories, I'll be putting up everything, anything and everything that's happening in my day. Like, let them know what I'm doing, what I'm eating. Like, and I'm sharing about my struggles as well. I'm not just sharing about my happy days, happy moments of life, right? So yeah, I think this log kya kahenge has taken a big toll on everything in my life.
Super, super. So these are the 3 reasons you failed. Okay, so we'll talk about this, in a quick summary in the end as well. So अब बात करते हैं कि सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज क्या था इस जर्नी में, सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज क्या था? What was the challenge?
I think the biggest challenge in my journey so far was to explain my parents, like even my mom initially, ki, what I'm doing, what am I trying to achieve. And plus, I myself did not have a lot of clarity. I just started. Okay, so the lack of clarity was the biggest challenge for me, and because I lacked clarity for my future, for say next 6 months to 1 year, I'm not even looking at 10 years. I don't even believe in the 10 years wala concept. But that lack of clarity was the biggest roadblock for me because I couldn't explain it to people around me. What am I doing? Where am I headed? So having that clarity, I guess, is super important. But again, कि उस clarity को ढूंढने के चक्कर में काम ही मत करो, ये तो पागलपंती है. Like, that's not what I would recommend. कि because you're trying to find clarity, you just like all sitting, waiting for some miracle to happen, and you will find clarity. So that can't happen.
Okay, so that was the biggest challenge, and I feel that 90% for 90% of the people, this is the biggest challenge: finding the clarity, finding the direction. That's very hard thing. मुझे भी direction ढूंढने में 9+ months लगे. So I was hitting random shots, but पता नहीं था. फिर जब मैंने courses buy किए, courses से पता चला कि ये करना है, वो करना है. फिर अब now I have a clear direction, and when you have a clear direction, you can actually run. तो मैंने I'm active on 5 platforms. So because I have a direction, I know what I have to do. So that's why it's possible. तब वो नहीं पता था, तब random चीजें हो रही थी, random things give random results, so it's hard. So clarity find
Yeah.
करना बहुत 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 important है. उसके लिए सबसे important है आपको एक mentor की जरूरत होनी चाहिए जो आपको दिखाए रास्ता कि ये करना है, ये करना है. That's okay.
Indeed.
So अब अगले पार्ट पे आते हैं, अगले पॉइंट पे आते हैं, that हमारी जर्नी में कोई ना कोई होता है जो हमें हेल्प करता है, जब हम लोग इधर जाते हैं, बिखर जाते हैं. So who was that person? It can be your friend, it can be your sister. Who helped you in your journey?
I think a lot of people have played a role for me. There is no one person I can
Would
pinpoint
love
and
to,
be like,
you can take all of the names here. Yes, go ahead.
okay. Yeah, but so before I, call out their names or anything, it's like all of them have played a different role in my life. So when I'm saying, so for me, journey is not just my professional journey, because I've realized the moment my personal life takes a backseat, my professional life at the in in some time will take a back seat as well. So for me, both my professional and personal people in my both lives, personal and professional, has played important role. So I met this person actually through LinkedIn. His name is Ansh, and a lot of people in my close network already know him, Ansh Jamdagni. He has been actually my go-to person every time my personal life takes a backseat. I am like, Ansh, what am I supposed to do now? And then he's like, Divya, it's the same thing that's happening, right? And then, of course, I have my mom and my sister, that comes without saying. But apart from my mom and my sister, Ansh is one who always had my back. And surprisingly, he started working as my intern. And
Oh,
then our journey grew into becoming really, really good friends.
superb.
So yeah, and so he is my personal life mentor, is what I would say, because he's lot into spirituality and everything, and
Wow.
so am I. But he is at an advanced level than me.
Hmm, super.
And on my professional side, my clients have been my mentor.
Wow.
All my clients have been my mentor. Like, so actually, my first client, I can't reveal his name, of course, but he has till date been my go-to person when I feel stuck. And then there's one more. I work in one startup as a co-founder, and
Wow.
so my fellow co-founder, he is actually a mentor and consultant for. He works as a mentor and consultant for people on a. But then for me, he has acted as my go-to guide when I feel like, okay, where am I headed? When like despite having clarity, you will always at some point feel stuck.
Right,
Are you
right, right.
going in the right direction or not, right? So he is the one who, like, I kind of go to when it just feels like, oh, what is happening. And then branding and all, if you go very niche specific, like in terms of what I work, then everyone in every spectrum, I have got one person who I reach out to, especially when I face a roadblock with client work.
Oh,
So yeah.
super, super. Client as a mentor. Last time, I was recording third episode, and Divya also said that she also had her mentor, her client as a mentor. So it's a very good thing. वो बहुत कुछ सिखाते हैं, उनके पास experience होता है because they are working from, so many years. So वो लोग अगर आपके mentor बन जाते हैं, तो बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलता है. That's a very good thing. Okay, so अब बात करते हैं कि when you failed, what inspired you to bounce back? There must be something that मुझे करना है. I failed, I want to do something. So what was that?
Okay. So before I answer that question, actually, I'll just go back to who has helped me in my journey.
Sure.
And since 2020, I have actually been taking therapy from a different therapist. She has been one of those pillars of my life, wherein in every therapy session, be it personal or professional problems, I have always somehow found a solution. She doesn't give me direct advices or anything, but my therapist is actually someone who has helped me a lot in my journey. And the reason why I'm telling you now this is that, when you asked me what has inspired me to bounce back,
Mhm.
those therapy sessions, those discussions that we have there, I always find a reason there in those therapy sessions, those 1 hour long therapy sessions, that, okay, why do I need to continue? That introspection, that's needed every time you want to quit.
Mm.
And lately, what I have been also doing is maintaining a gratitude journal. So every time I want to quit or every time I feel like, what am I doing with my life? I just open one random page of that journal and I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm blessed to have this many people. They are happy with me. They love me. And this for them I need to continue, not for myself. So I think those little things have helped me continue and bounce back. So when I recently hit a road, bottom rock due to some personal issues, I reached out to these people and they made me count the blessings of my life. And I was like, okay, yeah, there's no reason I'm quitting.
Wow.
So a lot of things are, a lot of factors play up when I have to bounce back from bottom rock.
सुपर 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 बहुत लोगों के साथ होता है कि एक लेवल तक चले जाते हैं, फिर जब जीरो पर आ जाते हैं तब दे नीड सम काइंड ऑफ इंस्पिरेशन। वो वही मिलता है जहाँ से हमने स्टार्ट किया था, जिन लोगों ने हमें हेल्प की थी। दे आर द पीपल, इफ दे आर गोइंग टू पुश अस कि इफ यू कैन डू दिस वंस, यू कैन डू दिस ट्वाइस एज वेल। सुपर। Okay, so yeah, we have completed almost everything. Sorry. So अब हम लोग देंगे summary. What was summary about three main reasons. Let's talk about three main reasons that made you fail, that because of you, that reason you failed. So what were that three reasons?
Okay, a quick summary here. Firstly, there was lack of guidance.
Yes.
Secondly, there was, lack of awareness, which happened when in my client's case. And third was procrastination. Like procrastination has been the biggest reason for failures in my life.
बहुत लोगों के साथ होता है।
But I'm learning to stop procrastinating. Like do it and get it off. Like get it
just
off the list. Do it and
करना है।
खत्म कर दो. Yeah.
प्रोक्रास्टिनेशन को अगर मतलब कम करना है तो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट व्हाट लेसन्स आई डू, व्हाट लेसन्स आई सजेस्ट पीपल, दैट सराउंड योरसेल्फ विद पीपल हु आर एक्चुअली डूइंग मोर। सो अगर वो लोग हमसे ज्यादा कर रहे हैं, वो लोग अगर कंटेंट डेली पुट करें, तो हम लोगों को हम सबकॉन्शियसली हमारा ब्रेन कहता है चलो हम भी कुछ कर लेते हैं। सो अगर if they are putting 10 videos, हम लोग कम से कम 2-3 वीडियो डाल देते हैं। So it's very important that you change your surrounding and you have people who are doing more in their life, so we actually start doing more. So it's very important. That's what I do. I have followed every on my every single social platforms. I have followed all the mentors, 10-15 लोग जो अपने काम में best है, they are doing good, they are best, they are at high level successful, they know everything. So I have followed them on every single platform: LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. So whenever I switch platforms, वो लोग मेरे सामने आ जाते हैं कुछ ना कुछ लेके, तो मुझे realize होता है कि yes, मुझे I have to do this, I have to do this. That's very important that we are surrounding ourselves with the people who are 10, 5, 15 steps ahead of us. So yeah, that's what I'm using. Okay, so अब बात करते हैं three takeaways. What are the three takeaways from this, all the failure, your journey and all? Let's talk about this.
Okay, the very first one that's coming on your way is don't be hard on yourselves. Because I've realized every time I've been hard on myself, everything has taken a backseat and it has taken me down. Like if I was at stage 10, it has brought me down to stage 3. So you need to stop being hard on yourselves. Like, of course, I'm not asking you to not push your limits or something. Do it, but don't do it too much that it just messes up everything.
Uh,
And secondly, reach out for help, be it in professional life or personal life. If you don't know something, reach out, ask for help.
exactly.
Like if you're not going to ask, this is going to sound cliche, you will never know if the person is even willing to help you or not. So just ask. The worst is ना बोलेगा ना, ठीक है, किसी और के पास चले जाएंगे, क्या ही फर्क पड़ रहा है? They will not even remember 1 month down the line that you reached out to them for help. Everyone is super busy in their lives,
Exactly.
right? So these are, and the third thing is, you know, this whole log kya kahenge, which made me procrastinate for 5 months. I kind of have started realizing ever since I moved to Bangalore that I see a lot of faces. Okay, when I go for workout in the morning, I see a lot of familiar faces every day, but they
Okay.
don't know me personally. So how I work out, what I do, they don't even give. They don't care. Like, okay,
Mhm.
they're gonna judge me for fraction of seconds and then just forget.
Right.
And the amount of content, if you are scared of लोग क्या कहेंगे, यार नहीं फर्क पड़ता है. लोग 2 मिनट के लिए सोचते हैं फिर भूल जाते हैं.
Exactly.
And just
Exactly.
ask yourself, how many times do you actually keep on thinking about some random stranger in your life?
सही सही. किसके
कोई
पास
कुछ
टाइम.
पागलपंती कर रहा है या कोई अगर कुछ कर रहा है रोड पे, अब 2 मिनट जज करोगे उसको फिर भूल जाओगे.
कितने
एंड
सारे
इफ यू
लोग,
एवर
बहुत बहुत
या
लोग सड़क पे बना रहे थे कुछ टिकटॉक रील्स एंड ऑल वी डोंट रिमेम्बर इवन देयर फेसेस. कितने सारे लोग,
या
मिलियंस ऑफ पीपल है. किसको फर्क पड़ रहा है? कुछ नहीं. दे आर हैप्पी विद देयर लाइफ एंड वी आर जजिंग फॉर 2 minutes एंड नोबडी केयर्स. नोबडी.
या I have been doing all. I'll tell you one thing. I have been doing all the weird stuff that I've ever wanted to do after moving to Bangalore. ठीक है. Weird poses में photos खिंचवाना, अलग-अलग cafes try करना. Every time I have to meet someone, I go and meet in some new place. So yeah, I'm adding just one more takeaway here, Tanmay. Though you asked me for
Yes,
these, that
yes.
explore as much as you can. I'm not asking you to go and explore just cafes, but travel, talk to people, you know, like just go for a walk. When I go for a workout, I talk to maybe one or two random people every day, or just smile at them. That just fills up my day with so much of joy. So explore, like put this word right in front of where you're sitting and working, big alphabets. Mein explore. Because exploration ke bina life is just not gonna happen.
Yeah. You are like,
Exploration has to
full of
happen.
positive energy. You're spreading full positive vibes here. I'm just loving it. बहुत बहुत
Thank you.
बहुत बहुत हमारे everybody, if you're watching this episode, just do what Divya is doing, because Divya, Divya story is like this. Bangalore को जाने के बाद you're a different person. It's like just मुझे मेरी life जीनी है and I'm like, yes, I'm happy.
Yeah.
बहुत 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 ज़्यादा inspiring. Okay, let's move to quick question quest and let's get started. So first question है, tweets or Instagram stories?
Sorry.
Tweets or Instagram stories?
I guess Instagram stories because I've been loving them lately. I'm all updated on them.
Like, yes. Okay, अब बात करते हैं personal branding के related. So whom do you love to listen? Okay, Ankur Warikoo or Gary Vee?
That's a tough one to choose, okay, and that's not fair. I think it totally depends on my mood. But
Still,
I've
still.
been following more of Ankur Warikoo. I
Okay,
haven't really started following Gary Vee a lot.
okay,
So yeah.
okay. Sure. Okay, third question is, working for businesses or working for person? What will you choose?
Working for businesses. I'm a brand strategist for businesses, not
Okay,
individuals. Humanizing brands.
okay, okay. That's what you have written on your LinkedIn profile. Humanizing
Yeah.
brands. Okay. Fourth question is, B2B clients or B2C clients?
Ah, okay. यार ये तो बहुत टफ है, मैं बता रही हूँ क्यों. क्योंकि मैंने बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग B2B प्रोजेक्ट्स भी किए और अभी मैंने एक प्रोजेक्ट उठाया दैट इज B2C एंड इट्स माय वन ऑफ द बाय फार फेवरेट प्रोजेक्ट. ठीक है. सो
Wow.
आई कांट आंसर दिस वन यार. इट विल डिपेंड ऑन द प्रोजेक्ट.
No, no,
B2B
you
or
have
B2C. But
B2B.
I'm going.
फ्यूचर में क्या करना है?
B2B gives me more money. B2B gives me more money. So
Okay.
B2B.
Super much. क्या बात है? Okay, fifth question is, for consuming long form content or short form content?
Long form content.
Same here,
Long form
same here.
content.
Future.
This is coming a little contradictory to what has been happening lately, but I feel short form content can't give you that much of value that a long form content can give.
Right, right. और हमें तो explore करना है, सब सीखना है. That's very important that we consume long form content, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Sixth question is more. Okay, are you going to put more content with average value or less content with premium value?
An amalgamation of both.
नहीं, you have to
यार आप मुझसे ऐसे क्वेश्चंस पूछ रहे हो ना, ठीक है, which are controversial questions because my clients are then going to be like तुमने पॉडकास्ट में ये बोला था, तुम हमको अभी ये सजेस्ट कर रहे हो.
नहीं को बोलना कि it's according to condition, but you have to choose one. More content with average value or less content with premium value. वो तो डिपेंड करता है
I
कि
think
क्लाइंट क्या है.
I'd say more content with average, above average value. I won't say premium, but above average. That
Okay.
anyone who reads is at least finding the 2 minutes that they've spent reading my time valuable, and they don't feel like it's a bluff content. So that's my
वो भी
end goal.
important.
That at the end of the day, they should take away something from the content that I have shared on the
Right.
internet.
Right. सिर्फ पोस्ट डालते जाना, उसमें कोई मजा नहीं है, उसमें थोड़ी सी वैल्यू होनी चाहिए.
नहीं.
Right.
इसलिए मैं कंटेंट नहीं डाल रही हूँ आजकल, क्योंकि मेरे को पता ही नहीं है क्या डालना है.
Okay.
My
I'll give
LinkedIn is
you.
dead, my Instagram is dead.
Yeah, I saw your last LinkedIn post is, I think 2 week or 1 month, I guess.
2 weeks back. 2 weeks back. I've been disappeared.
Okay. Last, oh no, not last. Seventh question is, what will you choose? Having only one mentor or more than one mentors?
More than one mentor. This
Same.
comes ekdam. I say more than one because I have more than one right now.
अलग-अलग फील्ड में मेरे पास भी. I also have 4 mentors right now, and I'm looking for that
Nice.
fifth horse, जो मेरी लाइफ को चेंज कर देगा. फिलहाल तो सब कुछ सही है. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Eighth one is that, what will you choose? Working as a, for a startup or consulting, like what you're doing today.
I did not get a question.
Okay. Startups or consulting business, what will you choose?
Like working with a startup or working with a consulting business?
Yes.
Working with startups. They are
Because
so much fun to work with. And they have money.
right. अगर startup successful होगा तो boom.
Yeah,
सीखने को भी बहुत ज़्यादा मिलेगा when we are surrounded with like-minded people. So that's a good choice. Okay. And last question is that daily posting or alternate day posting, what will you choose?
Post alternate day as long as you're consistent.
Okay. So daily post, मैं तो daily post कर रहा हूँ because I'm posting reels, but ठीक है, alternate day भी सही है. It's according to
as long as you are consistent. Right? Like I can't put up every day nowadays content. My LinkedIn has been dead for 2 weeks as of today, like this state when we are shooting. And my Instagram stories are active, but feed is dead again because I don't have time right now, which is okay.
She's okay.
Yeah, but I'll get back soon.
Okay, so yeah, let's talk about your failure, your favorite quote. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my favorite quote. So I think I read this somewhere, and ever since that's been there with me. Is if you're scared to talk about money, if you're scared to talk about money, money will never come on your way. Like you'll never be able to attract money. And just because you love money doesn't make you money minded.
Super.
Okay. Just because you love money doesn't make you money minded. How are you going to pay your bills?
Obviously.
How are you going to live that life? How are you going to have shelter over your head if you don't have money? So just talking about money doesn't make you money minded. And even if it does, it's okay if you're not harming anyone. So this is not exactly a quote, but a takeaway that I had from one of the recent podcasts that I was listening.
Okay.
And if you want a proper quote, there's one more. I think Ankur Wariko had mentioned this. Finding security in your own achievement is the biggest achievement.
अंकुर वारिको, बहुत deep बातें करते हैं. I was listening his course yesterday. He's just awesome. He was also sharing his story that he was also not from पहले से ही नहीं था सब कुछ. He was also putting content consistently, and pandemic के बाद सब कुछ हुआ जो हुआ. So
Yeah, 11 years of journey something
Hmm.
before it finally blew off for him. Yeah, I know
2020
that.
में blew up हुआ सब कुछ. And
Yeah.
that gave me confidence actually, because I'm also putting so much content on YouTube and as well. So he has only 7,000 followers, only 7,000 subscribers on YouTube in 2020. तो उसके बाद सब कुछ हुआ. तो हमारे लिए तो बहुत ज्यादा टाइम है, तो गिव अप करने का कोई सवाल ही नहीं. तो ओके,
Yeah.
सो पीपल, अगर आप यहाँ तक है, 40 मिनट 30 कितने मिनट हुए, अगर आप रुके हैं तो एक एडवाइस है मेरी तरफ से. सो या मैंने एक नोटिस किया था रिसेंट में कि हमने बहुत कुछ मिस किया था. देखो, पैंडेमिक के टाइम में हमने रील स्टार्ट नहीं की, यूट्यूब स्टार्ट नहीं किया, यूट्यूब चैनल मिस हो गया, रील्स इंस्टाग्राम मिस हो गया. बट एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है हमारे सामने, दैट इन पॉडकास्ट इंडस्ट्री. पॉडकास्ट इंडस्ट्री इंडिया में अभी तक बूम नहीं हुई है. पॉडकास्टिंग में बहुत ज्यादा स्कोप है, बिकॉज व्हाट हैपेंड, आई वाज पुटिंग पॉडकास्ट ऑन स्पॉटिफाई एंड एंकर बाय स्पॉटिफाई. सितंबर में मैं कर रहा था, तो मैंने स्टॉप किया था सितंबर में, क्योंकि कोई व्यूज नहीं आ रहे थे मुझे, कोई लिसन नहीं कर रहा, देयर वर नो लिसनर्स. तो मैंने स्टॉप किया, और अचानक से मैंने देखा एक हफ्ते पहले मेरा लास्ट पॉडकास्ट एपिसोड 25th एपिसोड, मेरे ऑल 24 एपिसोड को लिसनर्स आए थे 1 2 3 4 1 2 1 2 1 2. दैट्स व्हाई मैंने सोचा क्यों कर रहा हूं, मैं बंद कर देते. और 25th पॉडकास्ट को आए 34 व्यूज, एंड आई एम लाइक ओके, मैंने स्टॉप क्यों किया. अगर मैंने 6 महीने पहले पॉडकास्टिंग स्टॉप नहीं की होती तो आज मेरे 1000 प्लस लिसनर्स होते. सो मैंने ये बहुत बड़ी गलती की थी, तो इसलिए मैंने लास्ट सैटरडे से पॉडकास्टिंग स्टार्ट किया, एंड आई एम गोइंग टू पुट एटलीस्ट वन एपिसोड अ वीक ऑन एंकर, podcasting episode. So every listener, if you are content creator, and you as well, so start podcasting. बहुत ज्यादा स्कोप है. अगर हमने आज podcasting start की, only one episode a week, still we can have, after 1 year, after 6 months, at least 500 plus daily listeners to our podcast. So it is very important part. Podcasting एक इंडस्ट्री है जहाँ पे मुझे अब स्कोप दिख रहा है कि हम लोग वहां से ग्रो कर सकते हैं. अगर YouTube चैनल 2022 में स्टार्ट करोगे, रील स्टार्ट करोगे 2022 में, देखो मुश्किल नहीं है, बट पॉडकास्टिंग में कोई भी कंपैरिजन नहीं, मतलब कोई भी कंपटीशन नहीं है. जस्ट स्टार्ट करो और कंसिस्टेंट रहो. एक एपिसोड बनाने में, वीकली एक एपिसोड बनाने में सिर्फ 30 मिनट लगते हैं, ओनली 30 मिनट, एंड यू विल हैव thousands and thousands plus listeners if you start today. So I'm not going to stop my podcasting journey. I'm going to put only, at least one episode, 1 or 2 episodes a week. So that's what is, opportunity. मैंने इस पर एपिसोड भी बनाया है. लास्ट, इफ यू हैव लिसन, मैंने लास्ट सैटरडे एक पॉडकास्ट डाला था. तो यही है, स्टार्ट करो पॉडकास्टिंग. जस्ट दैट्स व्हाट आई वांट टू से. व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट दिस?
I guess podcasting शुरू करना चाहिए. I think आपने मुझे काफी टाइम पहले भी बोला था, दिव्या start podcasting, and I'm actually, the whole procrastination thing just gets on me so much, but I've finally conceptualized it, and I'll soon be starting. It's gonna be kind of an exclusive podcast in India in the space that I want to work so far. So let's see how that turns out. A lot of things are on my plate, but yes, I think jump on this podcasting bandwagon right now and make the most of it. And again, don't seek for perfection. Keep perfect light ho, perfect mic ho, perfect ye ho ye. Like who cares? No one cares. If you are giving value, no. Just start with a 2-minute podcast. I remember you had started some 1-minute series, right, Tanmay? So do that.
Video podcast hai.
I loved that, and I'm actually taking inspiration from that concept for my podcast.
Wow.
So let's see how that turns out.
एंड सेम जो भी हम लोग पॉडकास्ट बना रहे हैं वीडियो, उसको ऑडियो में कर दो और एंकर और स्पॉटिफाई पर डाल दो. बहुत ज्यादा लिसनर्स आएंगे, बहुत ज्यादा लिसनर्स आएंगे. और एंकर, जिस दिन एंकर मोनेटाइजेशन स्टार्ट कर देगा इंडिया में, उस दिन देखना किस तरह से बूम होता है एंकर का पॉडकास्टिंग. वो तो होना ही है. तब तक हमारे कम से कम 100 एपिसोड्स एंकर पे पड़ने ही चाहिए. तो मेरा वही गोल है. नेक्स्ट 6 मंथ्स में मैं 100 एपिसोड तो डालूंगा ही एंकर पे.
You'll do it. All the best.
Thank you. Okay, let's end this podcast failure stories with failure quote. Okay, so failure quote by Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee का ये quote है कि low aim is a crime. We have to think, big always. So ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्या हो जाएगा? We will get failed, but that failure also is, glamorized. वहां पे जाके फेल होंगे तो वो भी बहुत बड़ी अचीवमेंट होंगी, क्योंकि हमने बहुत बड़ा एम रखा और क्या होगा, फेल हो गए तो यहाँ पे आ गए. So it's a above average thing. So always have a big aim and don't worry about the failure. That's the core value. Yeah. So
That's
thank
a
you for
great one.
listening. Thank you for listening, everybody, and just take all the takeaways and start taking action. Good day.